told y'all it was going to stop. Hold up. Okay, this one is good. My laptop won't stop. I knew it would, so I gotta revise what it said. The key fit perfectly into the hole on the door, and Mom smiled at the sound of an unlocking click. Carefully, she leaned forward with her shoulder, giving it a nudge, unsure if the best option for the ancient door was extra force or extra restraint. The house opened with a creak. Air came out through the front like it was exhaling. Mom let out a breath at the same time. Over here, Amatashi. There's space for you to get a little closer. You can see inside here. You scooch towards your mom's side in the door frame. It was then that you noticed there was a mat at the front. It had a light color and kind of hard but fluffy texture. The sort of mats that get dirty looking right away when it was used, but it was still clean and nice. It hadn't been worn down at all like the rest of the building. This part of the house wasn't just an old thing left behind by other people who didn't need it or want it anymore. Someone must have put it there for your mom and you moving in. Written across the top, it said, "Welcome home!" Yay! Mom softly tapped the top of your shoulder, bringing you back into the moment. She kept the hand there, leading you ahead with her. The two of you walked through the door. Everything in the air was still. The wind was blocked, but it was practically as cold inside as it was out of the house. Mom shifted forward cautiously, feeling around for the light switch. Got it. Wow. Looks old. A dim light from the ceiling sparked on in an instant, and there in front of you was an old-fashioned living room. I guess this is step one already. The house has furniture that came along with it, but it wasn't a set. The pieces were mismatched. Each chair, table, and bookshelf in a different color. They were covered in transparent sheets of plastic and in dust. The room had a real fireplace made out of brick. In the back, you could see a staircase going up to another floor. Beautiful. It's even better than the photo. So much potential inside these walls. Choices. You were amazed. It could fit in a storybook. You were in a storybook. You were so disappointed. It blew your old apartment out of the water. It was the worst house in the world. It could work once you had your stuff out. Okay. You thought it was okay. The house was definitely haunted. Oh, I like haunted. Just not when it has a face. Sometimes. So I'm just gonna say not breaking any fourth walls out of here, because it could be a book. We can say it could work once you had your stuff out. Mom was right. It had potential. Your mom touched the tips of your fingers to the muted blue paint next to her. We'll have to clean as much as we can to make it livable before bed. It'll be a long night. We can unpack more of our things tomorrow, though. I'll be doing much of that on my own. You're going to be busy. Mom increased the pitch of her voice, squinting her eyes sweetly. After all, it's the first day of fifth grade. Oh, that's right. I believe most of my classmates were 10 years old. I didn't flunk. I just happened to move in at the at what everybody considered the wrong time because I was like 12 years old in the fifth grade. For the stupid, I was just placed in the wrong place. And that's how come sometimes like I don't have enough knowledge of anything because I was placed in home. It's considered a forever homeroom called special ed. I'll put in special ed. Nothing was wrong with me, but hey, just a lack of knowledge and communication. It made it just a little tiring and boring. So that just meant I made a lot of F's before I got better. Thanks to the person at the time. Choices. You grinted brightly. You groaned, throwing your head back dramatically. You had hoped she'd forgotten. You threw your head up in the air from excitement. You covered your face, getting nervous just thinking about it. You bit your lips, scared to even imagine having to go to a new school. You shrugged plainly. You got lost in thoughts, imagining what it might be like. You glared at her, annoyed that she bring it up so cheerily. Like, what kind of kid is this? Weird. But I see why this last option is in it, but it's not the one I would choose. I had no reaction to going to any grade, to be honest. Just shrugged plainly. It wasn't none for real. She chuckled gently while watching you. We got here just in time, huh? Yeah, I don't know why I say huh, but Her eyes drifted closed, and there was a crease in her brow. She seemed further away without having gone anywhere. Even if I am here early for the job, I am not going to make you be a fool I'm not going to make you be a full week late to class, okay? Being new to a town like this is already going to make you a point of attention. You couldn't tell if she thought that was a good thing or a bad thing by her tone. But Mom didn't say any more about that. She lifted her circle scarf over her head, careful to not have it catch on her earrings, and left it on top of her suitcase. So, want to see the upstairs?
Yeah.
The second floor was more of the same lonely, sealed away rooms with furniture nobody has been using for ages that were covered up by plastic sheets. Okay. And lots of dust. You could see the handprints your mom left behind in the grime as she wandered the halls with wide and amazed eyes. After checking the state of the whole house, Mom made the decision to leave the furniture in its protection until after the sweeping was finished. Wise idea. There were too many dust bunnies that might jump on to take a seat on your couches if a spot was available. True. I hope I can remember where I put that dustpan. The broom itself shouldn't be hard to find. You returned to the living room after Mom got her trusty pair of crafting scissors out of her suitcase. She put her scarf inside it when taking the scissors out. Mom then went through some of the taped up boxes like it was her birthday. And each one was a shiny, unopened present with a ribbon on top. But her gift was just stuff she already owned. One by one, she took out the supplies that had been brought for this very moment, setting them around her legs on the floor whenever there was a spot. Then she divided them out into separate piles. A pair of yellow gloves, a fluffy fresh duster, a bottle of cleaning spray, and a full roll of paper towels. Mom had a set of her own, the other was for you. You were going to need them. There was only one broom and dustpan that she did successfully find. You were going to take turns using that. The first move in the make the house a place people can actually live in. Plan was yanking open the sticky window, to get some airflow going. Though before even that, you had to get the locks on the windows themselves to come loose. You dug your fingers in between the base of the window frame and the latch pressed against it, forcing it to move against its will. When the lock clicked into place on the opposite side, you shoved the window up with both hands. Your gloves were already patchy with silk. The icy crisp breeze, no, the icy crisp breeze that flowed in from the outside was a lot more welcome at this point. You got a good look at the neighborhood while catching your breath. Street lights had come on, but you then left the window there to do its job and got back to yourself. And got back as well. I'm gonna say that. The two of you went back and forth, up and down around the house to open up everything that you could. Some windows were jammed in place so tight you had to leave it alone for your mom to get to later. The next point on the list was to somehow scrub down all the floors, walls, counters, and every other inch of the space where dust could settle, which was every inch of the entire house. You picked a spot and gave it a swift with the fuzzy head of the duster, a nice liner. So we basically cleaning house, and they want us to just go through this whole thing. I thought people would be generous and just skip, but I like to basically dust everything. If you can get to the ceiling safely, you have accomplished cleaning the house. The entire house, I guess. Every corner, crevice, even the chimney. You picked up a spot and gave it a sweep with the fuzzy head of the duster. A nice line of clear wood followed behind your motion. That pattern continued for a while, and whenever the dust layer was gone from a spot, you go back over it with the cleaning spray to remake it shine. Your mom was able to track down and turn on the heater. Not that you could tell the difference with all the windows wide open. Eventually, you had a short dinner break with your mom standing around in the kitchen. Together with the two of you, as dusty as the rest of the house, it was packed meals from the car. Okay. Simple sandwiches, fruits with thick peels that wouldn't get mashed on the drive. Little bags of granola and pretzels and juice boxes. That sounds so good. There were no groceries. The rickety fridge was off and totally empty when you checked. Choices. It was a relief that there was nothing gross in there. I'm not lying, that's the worst part. It was disappointing that there was nothing gross in there. Okay, now that's opposing. That's opposing because I'm like, dang. No, for the sake of this story, nope. Though it would have been cool, not right now. So the first option, because then I have to clean it up. You had prepared for the worst for such an old, practically abandoned house, but there wasn't a single bottle of nasty ketchup or box of unknown leftovers or anything. The trash from your food was dumped into the same giant black garbage bag that you've been throwing piles of gray-stained paper towels and wads of squished together tape in for a whole night. Somehow the bag was getting full even though it was big enough to fit your whole body inside. It was a mark of how much work you really done. Looking at just the house made you think. You hadn't even gotten started. Okay, that's my fault. About to sneeze. Anyway, to revise that because I couldn't really see. Looking at just the house made you think you hadn't even gotten started. The only way to change that was to keep going. As your mom talked about encouraging herself to clean up after dinner. I'm like, y'all ain't got no music. You and your mom polished up the house as best as you could for even more hours. But when your usual bedtime arrived, Mom put the duster and the scissors down. She wasn't gonna have you stay up late, no matter how excited she was to unpack. She guided you to the first floor bathroom. The ones on the second floor was too dirty to use, plucking her overnight bag off the counter along the way. Your mom explained how she do around throughout the whole house to close the windows to keep busy until the bathroom was free and left you to get ready to sleep. Inside the bag was little baby-sized version of normal toothpaste and mouthwash containers and simply bath toothbrushes. You all had your pajamas. That night was a green long sleeve shirt with matching pants. No choices. You got as clean as you possibly could with only a sink to use. You did a good job washing up. You were pretty lazy about it. You finished washing as fast as you could. Possible. That's possible. You just pretend to be busy for a little while. Clean as possible. Trying to get the greasy feeling off your skin wasn't easy and took way longer than usual, but it was crucial. Choices. I'm thinking options. You kept your glasses on for bed. You took your glasses off for bed. I remember going to sleep with my glasses. I'm taking them off because I'm a grown up. I'm a teenager. Then you changed into your PJs and let your mom have her turn while she was away. Choices. You took out your favorite stuffed animals from your pack bag. You took out your favorite action figure from your backpack. You took out your favorite doll from your backpack. You took out your special blanket from your backpack. You took out your special pillow from your backpack. You could only wait for her to be done. Action figurine. It was something you couldn't sleep without. The furniture was still plastic wrapped, so you crouched down and sat up on the rug. Mom returned in only a couple of minutes wearing her purple pajamas, and she also had sleeping bags tucked under each of her arms. She shifted one forward to hold against the front of her chest and dropped the other onto the floor. It landed with a poof. That'll be fun. That'll be mine. Yeah, look it, but it has been like a day since the last time. See, basically, you're gonna get a one episode, but in days that I just recorded and stopped recording. We'll get back into it instead of prolonging it. I want to remember to be clean. That's still it. She got it loose and vigorously flapped the bag all the way open. She laid it down in the clear spot on the wooden floor. There you are, Amatashi, all ready. Okay. You use your feet and rock back and forth to move yourself across the antique rug, scooting towards the sleeping bag without getting off the ground. Mom chatted casually while spreading out her own bag nearby. We'll need to get some wood so we can actually use that fireplace on a night like this. Did your mom know how to use a fireplace? You never seen one in person until now. And so far you still never seen one that had fire in it. True. Luckily the house was warm and cozy even without that sense of with, without without that since the windows stopped. Okay, revise. I don't know why I stuttered. This is gonna happen a lot. Luckily, the house was warm and cozy, even without the sense of the windows stopped letting the chill in. The heater worked. That was sort of a surprise to you. Mom soon settled down on the center of her temporary bed. She sat cross-legged with her back solidly straight. Her hands came to rest on the tops of her knees, and she made direct eye contact with you. Thank you for the help with the house today. We'll be home. It'll be home before we know it all. It'll be home before we know it. At this rate, at this point, my eyes are moving faster than my brain. Choices. I worked really hard, you said while stretching your arms. I am so tired now, you said while flopping down. You're welcome. A house and a home are the same thing. The way she said it made you roll your eyes. You stretch your arms out, happy with a job well done. You flop down onto the bag with a tired hoof. I say you're welcome. You slouch your shoulders, easing away some of the stiffness. Choices. Hey, guess what I did in the neighborhood today? Mom, could I tell you about what happened today? She asked you how your day was. Guess I can tell. You hid behind the fence the entire time. No, Mom. Okay, tell me then. After pausing just a little to build suspense, you began to narrate the entire story of the paper airplane adventure. From the moment it hit to the way it led you down the forest crossroad, finding Tamarack in her leaf pile and all her surprises, then meeting Qiu on his tower with his notebook full of loose papers. Mom listened with her whole self, leaning forward and grinning wider with each new turn you revealed. You wrapped it up by explaining how you returned to the neighborhood with Qiu and Tamarack after everything you discovered. What a way to spend an afternoon. I'm proud of you, Amatashi. You're a bona fide detective. I had no idea you'd gotten into such a winding journey. You kicked your legs up and down on your sleeping bag, very pleased with her reaction. It was a fun story to tell. Somehow the events of the day felt like they were a long time ago, or that they happened to someone else and you just heard about it. But it had been real. The paper airplane hit your shoulder and you held the note in your hand. Choices. And you threw that paper away when you were cleaning, and you didn't have any idea what happened to that paper, and you were saving that paper to give back to Qiu, and you were saving that paper to give back to Tamarack, and you saved that paper with your things as a keepsake. I guess he never did ask for the paper back, so we can say, I guess we'll keep it to give it back to Qiu. It was his note, you wanted to return it to him. With your topic all done, Mom softly spoken up to share her own thoughts with you. It's odd imagining this entire building collecting dust for all this time, isn't it? No one wanted to live here. No renters, not the man who owned it, but it's a charming house. Yeah, it is. How did we get to have something like this? Mom pinched her lips together in consideration, then she kept talking. There aren't a lot of opportunities out in these woods, I suppose. At my company, the retiring of the former HR manager was the first big position I've ever heard of for this area. And even that didn't open up for people already living in town. I was asked to relocate to take the position. Creases grew around her eyes the more she thought about it. She caught herself before a frown could follow. Oh, but it's not an issue. I'm grateful. We'll find our place in this slow pace of a golden grove. A slow pace of golden grove. And at least we'll have each other regardless. Choices. Yep. You and me are a team. It's great we have each other to talk about stuff with. We'll always be together. You can count on me, Mom. You nodded strongly. Yeah. You yawned, not paying too much attention. Have each other. It certainly is. Then your mom stretched her legs out fully across her sleeping bags, wiggling her toes inside the black socks she had on. Seeing Mom right there on the floor with you was cool. You didn't hang out together during bedtime like this most nights. It was special. As you thought about that, your eyelids were trying to tape themselves up with the sticky, gritty stuff your eyes made when it was extra late. Alright, dear, you should get inside the sleeping bag now before you blink out on top of it. That sounded like a pretty good idea. Scooping your action figures into both your arms, you shimmied into the open end of the bag. It was made out of fabric that was so smooth it wasn't difficult to do. You moved further down into the edge was to your chin. You were wrapped up like a loaf of bread in a grocery bag. Mom got to her feet, taking a short jog over to the far wall of the room. She lifted a finger to the light switch, but kept her gaze down on you. The expression on your face was gentle. Good night, Amatashi. Choices. Good night, Mom. Night. Sweet dreams. You smiled up to her. You blew her a goodnight kiss. You stared at her. You rolled your eyes on your side, turning away from her. Night. The room went pitch black with a click. While your eyes were trying to adjust, you heard the shuffling sounds of Mom. She's joined you on the floor again. Those noises soon stopped. Mom didn't talk anymore. There weren't sounds of cars passing outside. There was a thumping in your ears, and you thought you might have heard a creak somewhere. The night noises were a lot different than what you had experience with. They were so quiet and distant and distinct. It made you notice when no, where am I reading? It made you notice them more than it were clearer. Why am I having trouble reading? It made you notice them more than if they were clearer. You had to get to know the sounds better. It was another part of the house's personality. You were okay with that. It was normally too need time to get familiar with each other. It was normal to get just whatever. You press your eyes shut. In your head was thoughts of choices. Moving to a new town, Mom, Qiu and Tamarack, the first day of school. We're going to say Qiu and Tamarack because actually, yeah, let's just say both of them. Because the first day, that's gonna come anyway, so Qiu and Tamarack. You toss and turn in a squishy cocoon, wanting to sleep, so tomorrow would come sooner, but too excited to do so. It was way too long of a night. Then your second day in Golden Grove arrived. And we're just still in the tutorial. I'm sorry I'm taking forever to do this. I'm just stuttering, my words are just everywhere. It's just golly. It's like I'm reading here and there, and then I'm playing games. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm trying to get adjusted again to just I'm actually trying to read with my eyes and not say anything, because that's how I actually read. Just like that, I read real quick. Said, hello again. Hello again. We mentioned it earlier, but occasionally you will get this opportunity to change what you're wearing during this game. We can change our outfit? How often can we change it? You may also be able to take off accessories like hats and scarves during certain in-game moments. If you don't want to bother with changing your outfit, you can toggle these sections off from the Your Details screen. Click Info on the right to find it. Turning off the dress up section means that layers you choose to take off and keep wearing when you get to school will be your preference for what you wear indoors for the rest of the step 1, or until you turn on dress up section again, till you turn it back on. Would you like to see the dress up section in the future? Yes. Choices. I want to pick out my outfit. I don't want to see the dress up section. I want to pick out my outfit. Have fun. So it's like, when are we going to get to the actual game? Because to me, it feels like I've been in the actual game the entire time. So, because I'm like, I feel like I was naked the whole time. Not really. Can't really think like that. They already got clothes on automatically. Let's see. Cause I can't see all the outfits, and I would actually wear this. That looks so cute on me. But now I can't tell if that's a dress shirt or that's a straight dress. Cause there's actually some dresses with a tie on it. I guess I don't see them no more. But I like it. It's cute. It's cute accessories. I look good. Okay, I gotta go back up. So I'm not gonna skip this one. I'm gonna just let it stay in. The next accessory is under layer. I did under layer. This is over layer. Oh, the hoodie! Okay. Alright. I'm gonna keep that. I mean, I'm gonna let y'all see the rest of them. No, we're gonna keep it because it's not black apparently, so it's fine. So it'll be aligning with what I would usually wear sometimes. This is cool. Any undertone? Nah, I'm gonna leave it like it is. This looks nice. Head accessories. Now we already been through the head accessories, and there's nothing in here that I like. Glasses, I'll keep them like they are. Earrings, I'm not wearing any. Bandages. Don't keep the bandages on because we're still kids. Like some kids like it like that anyway. Okay, what's next? Okay, where's my mouse? I need to turn this mouse black, to be honest. Wear head accessories indoors. Wear over layers indoors. Oh, we're fine. We are okay. But your second day has only just arrived. Only one corner of the world outside the window had any sunlight. The rest was all sun shadows. The lights in the house had to be turned on for you to see your own hands. Choices. You love it. You loved when it was that early. Your mom had to work really hard to get you up. You didn't mind that. You thought it should be criminal to make people have to be awakened this early. That's what I would have thought. But really, it is actually difficult sometimes to wake me up. You did your best to stay asleep, but lost the battle that morning. At least she didn't start making you do chores. The unpacking wouldn't be started again until a lot later. That's what your mom said when you were brushing your teeth. For now, you both only had what was already out. The food around to eat was still the same stuff from yesterday. It was what you had for breakfast already, and you could see your mom packing it into a brown paper bag for lunch too. That was the last of the preparation she had to do for your school. You were pretty sure your mom really wanted to be the one to get your supplies for the day together. She put stacks of staple papers and notebook, your pencil case, ruler, more into your backpack. Mom had kept the pack on the middle seat of the car to make sure that it would be right there when it was time to use it for class. I'm sorry, I sound like a robot. It, I mean, if it had gone missing, maybe you would have had to carry your school stuff in a cardboard box, the same way you had to bring everything else you own to this place in big boxes. You watched her from your comfy spot on your sleeping bag. You already gotten dressed for the day, but that didn't mean you couldn't sit in bed again. There weren't anywhere else to do. There weren't anything else to do. Soon you'll be leaving the new old house and the neighborhood and all the parts of the Golden Grove you've gotten to see so far. The next stop into the unknown was North Acres Elementary School. You tried to imagine what it might be like, but oh, school thoughts were shaken out of your head when a muffled thumping sound filled up the air. Mom slowly lowered her full hand down to the counter, and at the same time her head and eyebrows went up. Guess? Already? At this hour? You wouldn't believe it. Your mom left your lunch bag incomplete on the tabletop and went to investigate the knocking. Choices. You got up to go see too. You ran to stick by your mom's side. You dashed forward to beat your mom to opening the door. You stayed sitting on the sleeping bag. You got to your feet while calling your mom. Mom, can I answer it? Nah, I would have took a peek. If given an option, I would go take a peek. You press your hands onto the shiny stuffed bedding underneath you as you lean onto your feet to get off the floor. You were able to join Mom before she opened the door. She pushed the long handle down with a click and tugged the door forward. It squeaked open. You glanced ahead, squinting your eyes to adjust from the complete dark brightness inside to the pale dawn outside. Qiu! Standing tall on the welcome mat, seeming totally at home at your home, was the new friend you had met the day before, Mr. Qiu Green. No, I'm not gonna say their name. Though he said he was also called Autumn. Choices. You were going to try using the nickname sometime, but you just called him by his actual name. So we're friends, I guess, by children default settings if they got to know each other on the right foot. So yeah, use nicknames. Growing up, it was a nickname thing anyway. Autumn's fluffy hood was tucked snugly around his head. He didn't usually do that, at least based on how much you knew was usual for him. Maybe it was because the air was somehow even more skin prickling cold in the morning than it was during the day or evening. You shuddered just from the wind coming in through the opening. Girl, I would have stayed in bed then. When he caught sight of you there, a plucky grin took over his face. Or plucky, whichever one it was. He popped onto the balls of his feet, getting even taller, and cheered a greeting. Good morning. Seeing who it was, you. Choices. Why did I hit save? Choices. Scooting past your mom to stand by Qiu on the porch. Enthusiastically shoved past your mom to stand by Qiu on the porch. Nervously shifted behind your mom. Started in place, then dove too high behind your mom's legs. Stayed there to greet the guests. Stood in place wondering if it was too late to go back to the living room. We're gonna say hi. Now I don't shove. Scooted past the mom and fine, but didn't we just say it was cold out there? Well, I'm not just gonna stand there and greet the guy. Just gonna scoot past mom. Qiu puffs, completely pleased that you come over to him. I'll leave it alone because we're kids. He mirrored your move, so he was facing you instead of mom. Choices. Hi. Hello. Good morning to you. You're visiting me? You said, confused. Thanks for coming to my house. What are you doing here? You asked accusingly? God dang. What are you doing here? You asked curiously. You waved excitedly. You waved shyly. You quietly waited there for an explanation. Now we're gonna, first of all, I'm not gonna accuse him. Not confused. Good morning to you. Thanks. Really? Qiu stayed put in the new place he took, but angled his head up and over to give his focus to your mom. I'm Mr. Qiu Green. I'm your neighbor, and the same age as Miss Amatashi Shaya. The two of us met yesterday. Ah, yes, I've heard. I'd been anticipating getting to meet you, and those feelings were well placed. You're so polite. Qiu straightened out of the line of his bandana, with both hands giggling cheekily as he made direct contact with you. Okay, I gotta revive that because that was confusing. But also, what the frick is wrong with my brain? I know I can read, and I know some of y'all get so tired of me stuttering, breaking words, and all sorts of stuff. But at this point, it's just progress, because I don't do this every day. Or if I did, then I need more books. But also, it's time for me to get new glasses, but I don't have the money for it, so it's okay. So you're going to have to struggle with me. Or just skip or go do something else. Qiu straightened out the line of his bandana with both hands, giggling cheekily as he made direct eye contact with you. Well, if somebody has been talking about me, I hope it was the good stuff. If I lie, that's a problem. Now, I should introduce myself as well. I'm Miss Shaya, Amatashi's mother. I wanted to dance. It's nice to meet you. May I speak with Amatashi, Miss Shaya? There's something I want to talk to her about. Now that's different. Some kids don't even do that. Softly, your mom's glance drifted down to you. Without looking back at him, your mom replied, "That will be fine. I'll finish getting your bag ready, Amatashi. You two can chat." Qiu clasped his hands together primly. "Thank you very much. You're so polite." Mom let out a content smile rest on a content smile rest. She let a content smile rest on her face as she walked back inside the house, leaving you alone with Qiu. Oh, gosh. You looked back at him eagerly. It was only the morning and something good was already happening. What did you want to say? Autumn didn't beat around the bush with you. He probably didn't with anyone. He came right out with what he had in mind. Want to walk to school together? It's the first day. He squared his shoulders and held out a hand, counting off points on his fingers. We're going to the same place. We're going to the same place in the same grade. There's a good chance we'll even be in the same class. Going together would make everything so easy. Choices. Yeah, okay, thank you, you're so nice. Only if you're sure. You gave a nod in agreement. No, no thanks. I'm sorry. You shook your head in agreement, but that's just easier for me. What's in it for you? I don't need your help. You don't have to help me. You stared at him with wide eyes. This is a lot of variety from the last one. Not last one, I mean like the game I'm currently playing. Like there's nothing wrong with the one I'm currently playing, but this is more in depth, so I can see myself getting into this game. I think I said that already in one of the times I recorded. Let's see. I mean, we're already on a friend base almost. It's like, if it makes things easier for you, what's in it for me? He had a way too easy answer for that. Walking with you is what's in it for me. Okay, it'll be fun. Choices. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, I think yeah. Okay. So it's the same thing. So we're just gonna agree over here because it was a question over here, so give a nod in agreement. Alright. He popped an enthusiastic double thumbs up. I think it makes a lot of sense that we go together. With his hands in his pockets, Qiu shifted the whole top half of his body diagonally over to one side. I don't know why I had trouble reading that. The tilt of his head really showed off the bend in his self-pleased smile. Oh. He flung an arm back out and arched the fingers across the air in front of both your faces. It might have been to stop you before you could say anything, or to keep himself from forgetting whatever else he wanted to talk about. And it wouldn't be just us. I'm gonna keep going down the cul-de-sac to Granny's house so I can ask Tamarack next. So that's it. What do you think about all three of us walking together? It's a good plan, right? Of course it is. We all met yesterday. Choices. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that does make sense. I'll come. It's a great idea. I want to go. I'll come. It's a shock you have smart ideas sometimes, you said teasingly. Sure, I guess, though, you wish you could have gone along with Q. That's not our mindset in this game. Not right now. No. You changed your mind. You nodded in agreement. You shook your head. You had changed your mind. No, we're not doing that. We're gonna say yes. How come? It's a shock you have smart ideas sometimes, he said teasingly. No, it's too early in the morning. We ain't doing that. It's a great idea. I want to go. You swung your hands behind you and spoke out again. I'll get my backpack and tell Mom we're going. Cool, I'll wait here for you. You parted with Autumn for a second but didn't bother closing the door. The sound of your feet against the floor was the only noise in the huge house. You couldn't have snuck up on Mom if you tried. Too bad I can't with mine. Each step you took brought you closer, and it made the smile on your face grow larger. But she didn't get distracted from her job. Her gaze stayed stuck to the counter. Mom placed one more paper into your backpack and snagged the plastic clasp on the top flap closed. With that secured, she promptly picked the bag up by the loop handle. I feel like I'm uncomfortable, but I am. She lowered herself down to your height by bending her knees low. Then she offered the backpack over to you. Exceptional timing, dear. Here, you're set to go. It was nice and light when you took the pack from her. That wouldn't last. Soon you have actual school books to bring around with you. What happened with our guest? Did he leave? You answered the question while looping one arm after the other into the wide openings of your backpack straps. He's out there still. Qiu wants me to walk to school with him. Can I go? You shifted your grip to the dangly ends of the arm fan, then gave them a tight, my English. The sooner I can get through reading, this will be just fine. You shifted your grip to the dangly ends of the armbands, then gave them a swing tug to tighten the strap, fully secured to the bag against you. He came over to ask you that. Talk about convenience. The young Mr. Lean must know the way far better than I do. You certainly can walk together. That was exactly what you thought she'd say. You could count on her to understand. As she smiled, her face lit up softly, like the early morning sunshine outside. Mom pinched the tip of your chin between her thumb and her pointed finger. Enjoy your first day. There's only one of them per year. Sure. That was right. That was the start of your school year in a brand new town. Anything could happen for all you know. New. Through the open door, you could see Alton waited patiently on your porch still. He turned his back to the house, instead looking around the neighborhood. You came to his side and that caught his attention. But his gaze didn't go to yours. It went right to the backpack you had on. Alton grinned hopefully. I told Mom it's okay. He smacked his hands together enthusiastically. All right, time to go. You know, Amma, it's been forever since I've gotten to walk to school with a friend. You perked your ears, going super alert. He said you were friends. You thought you were, but it was totally different to have him talk about it just like that. Option, I'm glad we're friends. Me too, Optum. This is great. You really think we're friends? Q. Thanks for being my friend. Q. Could you call me Amatashi? I knew you liked me, you jerk. You joked. You didn't know what to say. I mean, as your friend, you don't want them to go ahead and just say your name like that. I mean, you're already friends. So we're just gonna say, it shouldn't be hard to pick, but I like this game that is so thorough. I'm glad we're friends. He grinned ear to ear. Alton was full of certainty. Same with me. Q swiftly swiveled all the way around on his heels. He firmly planted his feet into the floorboards of the porch to close out his move. Then he confidently strode forward and leaped over the little steps to get onto the ground. Alton had places to be, and nothing was gonna stand in his way. Happily, you went along with him down the stone path, past the fence, and onto the neighborhood sidewalk. It took less than a minute to go around the bendy curve of your neighborhood that led to the least colorful home on the street. Tamarak's home. Also her Omi and Oppa's house. Q and you wandered right into the uncharted territory of their port. I'm so sick of not being able to read straight. Choices. Q tapped out of a rhythmic set of knocks. You reached forward to knock. You pressed their doorbell button. Are you ready? Doorbell. It made a dingling sound until you took your hand off. Q brought his arms to his side, shook his head to readjust the way his hair fell around his shoulders, and positioned himself squarely in the center of the entryway. The old door began to jiggle in its frame like it was shivering cold from being outside this early too. But someone was fiddling with the doorknob on the other side. And then the door swung wide open with a clattering yank and a gust of flowery perfume air coming out from deep inside the house. still clasping the handle and leaning her head against the wood. Tamarack was there to greet you. She had her bag and scarf on the other day already. Hello. Good morning, Tamarack. Her eyes popped open. She hadn't looked to see who was at her door before saying hello, but she could tell who it was from that answer. Tamarack's tone of voice lightened even more. Q, I'm Matashi. She used your name, not your nickname like Autumn had. Maybe she would use it later, or maybe she'd forgotten. Tamarack kept talking without giving a reason why she called you that. You're both here. Hi. Okay, my glasses are just terrible. I cannot read straight. I can't do. Not saying at this point. Choices, hey. Good morning, Tamarack. That's right. We came to ask you to go to school with us. You waved at her. You lowered your gaze shyly. Want to walk to school together? We're gonna say that's right. We came to ask you to come to school with us. Q followed your invitation with a nod. We're all going that way. It'd be cool to walk as a group. She blinked rapidly, many times and all in a row. In the soft pink light, her eyelashes looked almost like shimmering dragonfly wings. Wow, okay, I want to come. She twisted almost the whole way around, turning her back to you. You could just barely glimpse the darkened hall behind her. Tamarack then leaned over, bending her knee and powerfully shouting into the depths of the gray house. I'm going to school now. Her loud, high-pitched call echoed through the hallway. Have a good day, young lady. Tamarack hopped forward. It was small, but that was all it took to go from being in her house to being in the outside world. Okay. She tugged the doorknob with her to slam the door shut. I'm ready. The quickness of all that was too much. And Q needed a second to catch up with it. But when he did, he chuckled. Perfect. Awesome lazily settled his hands on his hips, and his eyes moved away off to the side, even though there was nothing special to see that way. I clicked too fast. Let me see if I can go back. No. Oh, great. Oh well, whatever I said is what I said. Yeah. She pumped her fist up and down in the air in patterns that matched the pace of her yes. Here we go. Choices. God dang it. Here we go. I hope we're not gonna be late. You sound really excited, Q. You joke. I'm glad you're coming, Tamarack. Yeah, he sighed. Yeah, you cheered along with Tamarack. You smiled wide. Or we could not go, you teased. Or we could not go, you said plainly. Here we go. Just get to the point. Yeah. You clustered together, you and Q and Tamarack tramped off the white wooden porch. The full set of cul-de-sac kids hit the road again. The trip was almost the opposite of last time. Yeah, the sun was coming up instead of going down, and you were leaving the neighborhood instead of going back to it. But that wasn't what really stood out to you. It was a little bit amazing you already could compare it to the last time. And you could guess that this journey with them wasn't gonna be the actual last time it ever happened. It just become the last time it happened before this next time. The first part of the school trip wasn't hard. There was only one way out. There was only one way of your neighborhood. Out of your neighborhood, unless someone hiked out into whatever the woods went. Hid out, whatever. That would be cool. Maybe you'd be able to do that someday. Your actual path forward had you brushed past the forest forks that originally led you to meeting Qiu and Tamarack. But you weren't stuck with the same limits as before. This morning you moved right on without even stopping to check what might be hiding away back there. Now you travel even further. The woods crowded in closer and closer around one road that led out, until suddenly structures began to appear in between the bushes. The thick overhang of leaves pulled apart to show the sky. The world unfolded ahead of you. Sunshine climbed mountains to just barely tickle your cheeks while the stars still clustered against your back. You were right in the center of the windy mountain path. Oh, this place is moving. Okay, I thought I was losing it. It flowed over the uneven ground, blanketing every small bump and bend like a black river. Along the street hung wooden poles rose into the sky in a row that rivaled the trees. Stretching phone lines and reaching branches moved the whole town together. Even though Golden Grove was a live-in place with man-made things, the vast wilderness was as much a neighborhood to the residents as their real people neighborhood. Tamarack, ah, Tamarack trampled over the grass, swooshing her arms in full-length swings in front of her. She didn't get anywhere near the Tarnac, whatever that was. Hugh's stride was a lot breathier. He took the spot in the line closest to the road and didn't even check for cars. His eyes were aimed at the now viewable sky. You ended up somewhere in between them. If Tamarack was a swoosh and Q was a breeze, you were a kite floating on that wind. It was easy to keep their pace with the light steps you took. All that air went out the window when Q started moving his hands around even more than Tamarack. He frantically stuck his fingers in and out of each one of his pockets, while poking his tongue out at the corner of his mouth. You and Tamarack just watched as he tugged at his jacket and pants while walking. The two of you probably shared the same exact thought. He was looking for his notebook or paper or something. Aha! And it was paper. But it wasn't his special tan pages. The thing Q grabbed with a thick folding pack. What the heck? Revive. And it was paper. But it wasn't his special tan pages. The thing Q grabbed was a thick folded white printed paper that was covered all over in tiny ink words. You could instantly tell what it was. That many papers stapled together with the many little words on them only ever came from one place, school. Q held it close to his face. He had his nose completely in what was basically a book. But for some reason he started to talk to you and Tamarack. Which room did you get? For a second Q perked over the pages to look at the both of you. Who's your teacher? Tamarack thought hard, but she didn't find an answer in her head. She squished her hand under the flap of her bag without unbuckling it. She had to find her own papers. Choices. I remember. My mom told me. I remember. I read it earlier. I'm gonna check. Mom told me, but I forgot. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I know that. You quietly moved to check your school stuff too. You thought about it, and before long, you knew the answer. I first off don't know who the teacher is, so they didn't give me that option, so... Quietly moved to check my stuff. Your mom put a big packet of paper into your backpack. You just needed to find it. While you rooted around for that, Qiu shouted, "Here it is! Room 24, Miss Murray." Qiu used his thumb to bend the papers down. They stopped hiding his face, and he could see he was stunned. Tamarack waved her packet in the air in a crispy flurry. "Me too." "Great. What about you, Amatashi? Is it Miss Murray Street?" You yanked the paper from your bag and sped read the huge chunks of long words that explained the school procedures and student enrollment. Lucky for you, the part you needed to know was smack dab on the front. "Teacher, Miss Murray, room 24. Cool. Choices, I am. We're all in the same class." You cheered. "Yeah, I'm also in that class." You sighed. "You're gonna be stuck together forever." You joked. "We're gonna be stuck together forever." You groaned. You closed your eyes and nodded. You were happy you get to share a class with Qiu. You were happy you get to share a class with Tamarack. You were happy you get to share a class with Qiu and Tamarack. I'm gonna say "I am" to keep it simple. Your mom had given you the papers. Qiu probably got his from his mom and dad, and Tamarack from her Omi and Oppa. Despite being kind of different, the papers were all the same. A smirk settled in its regular spot on Q's face, all according to plan if he somehow could have planned it. We're roommates. He didn't need to pocket for anything else, so he stuffed it in his pants pocket with a shrug of one shoulder. There's only 3 fifth grade classes we could have been in. When Qiu made sure it was deep enough to not just fall out, he brought both his arms into an even bigger shrug and chuckled too. "But Miss Murray, I almost made it without her being my teacher. It was close." "Okay, I guess you almost flunked, I'm not sure." Tamarack peered into his face with wide eyes, leaning over so much that you almost walked into her. She didn't have to say what her question was with words. Qiu got it. "Don't worry, she's nice. She's the best teacher for you two." Qiu made a very serious and reassuring okay sign with his fingers, but in an instant, it snapped into a pouting gesture. "And you're probably gonna be shocked, but Miss Murray isn't just a teacher. She's a mom. She had kids that are just her kids, not students." Wow. "Choices, that's weird." "Why would that be weird?" "I think you're weird, Qiu," you joked. "I think you're weird, Qiu," you said bluntly. "I never wanted a teacher as my parent. It'd be kind of fun to have a parent who was a teacher." You stared in amazement. You stared at the two of them for how big a deal they made it. You just watched the two talk. "Why would that be weird?" "How does a teacher have kids, Amatashi?" "The same way all adults do." "But now I know where we're really going. I can bring us right to the door." The extra burst of confidence got Qiu to take a few long strides ahead of you and Tamarack, keeping his chin high. Tamarack bounced across the grass, kicking her knees high to catch up. She didn't let him keep the lead that he took. Or so he took, I don't know. Choices, you shyly caught up. You happily went up to them. You hung back. Qiu grinned at Tamarack when she came up beside him. When you didn't, he checked over his shoulder. As soon as he caught your eye, he flipped around to walk backwards, so he could still smile at you from where you each decided to be. With Qiu distracted, Tamarack cheekily snuck even more to the front. She was in the lead and gave you a thumb up behind his back. It turned into a long line of 3 kids instead of a wide one. Your steps came back into a steady rhythm between the 3 of you. Choices. Tamarack, are you worried about going to a new school? Q, why didn't you want Miss Murray for your teacher? Tamarack, does your Omi and Opa know anything about my house from before I moved there? Q, do you know anything about my house from before I moved there? I walked along quietly. I guess we'll ask why he didn't want her. And that face says a lot. I just don't know what it is. 'Cause she knows me. Not like how all the teachers have met me 'cause I go to that school. His dark brown eyes stretched open as wide as they could. His whispered words were pulled out just as long. It was a deep, secret confession. She really knows me. Outside of school and everything. The seriousness of it only lasted a second. Autumn laughed at it instead. It's going to be tough to get away with stuff now. What do you usually do? Instead, Tamarack put on the shocked expression Q had just put away. Whoa! I've never seen a teacher outside of school. When do they leave? Pretty late usually, but they do go home and do errands and stuff. I've experienced it. Oh, that was interesting. You learned something new. The longer the walk went on, the more Tamarack's gaze was pulled onto the forest edge along the road instead of what was right in front of her. Her steps drifted unevenly. It also slowed her pace enough that the long line meshed back into the wide one, with each of your neighbors walking by your right and left side. You couldn't blame her. You had done the same during the trips a few times, but you weren't the only one who noticed her focus. Hey, so it's kind of funny how both of you like the woods that much. It's the only nice place I've seen here so far. She said it in the plainest way possible, and the words still made Q gasp hard enough to cough. So he must not be familiar with some people's normals, like it's normal for her. Have you been places other than the forest? Yeah, lots. They're not good. I can't believe it. Honestly, where does she come from? Since places are not so nice, I guess, on her side of you, I guess. Choices. It's not that big a deal. I think Tamarack's probably right. She's probably right. The town's not gonna be better. Hey, both places can be good. They're just different. You shouldn't try to make Tamarack change her mind on what she likes you. It means to say to the woods are the only good place, Tamarack. Yeah. Look on the bright side. That's more forest on her and more neighborhood for you. You didn't say anything about it. So, honestly, where does she come from? Where it's like, it's not nice when she goes to the city and stuff. But now I'm just questioning, did she have a good upbringing when she came to live with her grandparents? If not, then that's probably all she knows. That's why the forest seems so nice to her. So she don't like the town. She loves the forest and he can't comprehend. So let's just say both can be good, but they're just different. Yeah. Q shook off the shock the Tamarack's statement hit him with. He turned his cheek to the front as he rolled his shoulder. He was winding up for a comeback. I guess I can give you one thing. There's a pretty special kind of fun that, in all my years of living here, you can only ever have out in these very woods. Nowhere else. Really, what is it? He cast a reel. A reel? Instagram? He'd cast a reel and Tamarack was hooked on it. She instantly became invested in whatever mystery Qiu had up his line. I'm not gonna tell you. What? Tamarack shrieked in a tone so high it scared away a bird who was minding his own business in a tree above. It was hook, line, and sinker. The beat of his wings fluttering through the air, watch his cue jiggling, match his cue jiggling. He brought a hand to his chin and leveled a mischievous glance at Tamarack. One day you'll understand. Something. And that was really it. He closed up his lips, folded his arms, and settled into not explaining for the rest of the walk. Tamarack couldn't accept that, or couldn't get the hint. She pestered him with the passion in her words getting stronger every time she repeated them. Tell me the thing. Tell me the special thing. Qiu, tell me the special thing. Choices. It was too funny. That's not fair, Qiu. We can't figure it out for sure, Tamarack. You stayed out of that mysterious place deep in the woods. The thought of it was so exciting. Please tell us. Sorry, Tamarack, you'll have to wait and see. You silently foamed. Who wants to bet she never finds out? You tease. Come on, Qiu. You gotta say more than that. That was exciting. Mysterious, but exciting. Too bad you weren't going there. You were headed to school. The conversation of Tamarack's attempt to squeeze Qiu for info and the snickers that escaped from Qiu continue while you headed towards your goal. Down that road some more, over a crosswalk, past the main street, taking a turn at the corner. That was when the widest building you've seen so far came into view. There had been taller ones, cause that one only had 2 floors, but there was a lot of those floors. North Acres Elementary School. The name made sense. You wondered exactly how many acres it was. Dozens of other kids were pouring out from a few different paths and mixing together under the front acres above the giant door. You tried to stand up straight, wanting to do things right. Then you went through the door together. Qiu and Tamarack stayed even closer to you than on the walk there.